In this video, we're going to be going over Andrew Yang's policies. Again, this is part 2. You guys apparently like Andrew Yang, or at least you like to look at a presidential candidate that actually has his policies there, which is something I highly respect about Andrew Yang, even though I don't agree with a lot of his stuff. But that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, get the physique you want, get the girls that you want, and go from the victim mindset to what I call the Bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something you are interested in doing, click that subscribe button down below. He reorganized this here under different categories. I thought it was kind of interesting that he put the Freedom Dividend at the top of just about every single one that he could. Kind of a smart move, considering that's giving people free money. That's the kind of the thing that he's running on. But it's smart because you got to get, the uneducated masses to vote for you. And, I would do the same thing here. We're going to start here. Foreign policy first principles. So, while America has not only made mistakes, we've definitely been a protective force in world history, leading to the spread of peace, prosperity, and democracy. Okay, so let's see what we're looking at. Okay, so we're going to look at the problems to be solved. America has involved itself at too high a cost in foreign issues that don't concern us. I agree 100%. We've lowered our stature in the world community, alienating allies and making it harder to form effective coalition to accomplish our goals on the world stage. I don't know if this is necessarily true. I think we've actually made ourselves more respected since Trump has basically not taken shit from people. So I do like that, but I do agree with this. So goals: make it harder for the United States to get involved in foreign engagements with no clear plan or goal. Definitely agree. Rebuild our, I'm kind of an isolationist, I guess. Rebuild our relationship with allies to strengthen the international order. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Bring our military spending under control. And yeah, nothing wrong with that either. So he says that he'll work with allies to rebuild our stature in the world and strengthen alliances such as NATO. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Reinvest in diplomacy and bolster funding to the State Department. Again, I don't know if this is really an issue. I'm definitely one for diplomacy, but I don't feel like that's really an issue right now. Work with allies to project our combined strength throughout the world without engaging in activities that will cost American lives money with no clear benefit. This I agree with 100%. Sign to repeal AUMF, returning authority to declare war to Congress. Yeah, I think that's probably good. I used to be anti-guns, now I'm kind of pro-guns, but let's see what he says here. Problems to be solved. Most Americans agree that responsible gun ownership with some restrictions is proper policy. That makes sense. Current gun laws have been pushed in a dangerous direction by lobbying groups only looking out for the profits of gun manufacturers. I think there's some truth to this statement. I think we can, I'll disagree. Both people will hate me based on that statement, but there is some truth to it, I think. Okay. Create common sense licensing policy requiring investment in safety precautions. Yeah. Prevent dangerous individuals from owning guns. Sure. Encourage innovation, firearm personalization, and safety. This is a good thing. I think we can really do this with technology here. Enhance mental health resources available to people who need help. This is a good balance. Okay. America's lack of paid family leave policy results in negative impacts on health, women employment rate, and family cohesion. A lack of paid family leave policy forces many single parents, especially mothers, into poverty. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Propose and fight for paid family leave policy requiring employers to offer at least 9 months of paid family leave distributed between parents, however they see fit, or 6 months paid leave for a single parent. Okay, I think this is bullshit. This is ridiculous. Okay, because the big problem with this is slavery. This is forced labor. Okay, you cannot require an employer to pay someone who's not working. Okay, that is requiring them to give away their resources for free, which is the equivalent of slavery. Okay, again, I will come from a very libertarian bend on this and say that this is ridiculous. And not only this, but this just encourages people to automate jobs. It encourages people to hire outside of the country, right? It just, in America today, it doesn't make any sense to hire employees locally. It's just, as an entrepreneur myself, I can tell you that I wouldn't hire someone locally. I would just hire contractors that work out of the country, because this kind of crap makes it ridiculous. There's so much liability and cost in hiring employees that it's just not fucking worth it. So it's ridiculous, right? This doesn't make any sense at all, right? you shouldn't get paid anything. You shouldn't have any kind of paid family leave. None of this. This is not a benefit that we should be requiring employers to make or providing, because there's no reason for it, right? I understand this would be good for employees, but it's also going to hurt them, because why should an employer have to pay for someone for family leave? Why should they have to pay for you making a choice yourself to have a child? They shouldn't, right? You shouldn't have to pay for someone else's decisions. All right. What does he say here? Wow, there's a lot of problems. Arts, including educational programs, are struggling to survive despite their popularity. Many individuals abandon their creative dreams due to economic insecurity, lack of time, or a sense that society doesn't value art. U.S. government is underinvesting in arts. Okay, so current copyright law is outdated and based on decades of changes and exceptions being granted to large corporations at odds with the intent of original laws. Modern distribution services have led to artists not receiving fair royalties. For example, musician fees from music. Okay, I agree about the copyright laws. I'm not sure about this. It's not like someone's twisting their arm and making them. This is just the way that business has evolved here. But maybe there's something that can be done here. I don't know if we need government intervention. So, provide resources to state and education creation. Okay. Incentive of individuals and corporations to increase their support for the arts, increase civic engagement. Yeah, I don't know if we really need to, fixing the copyright laws, yes, I agree with. Licensing structure, we don't need to regulate this kind of stuff. So, okay, National Endowment for the Arts. I'm not totally opposed to adding more funding here. Tax law to spur investment in film, television, and live theatrical production. This makes sense. I think that's fine. I would invest if that was profitable. That's a good way to do this if you're going to have taxes. Okay. Let's see. I don't know about pushing this. Explore the future. Creating a national theater would be cool. I love theater. That would be kind of cool. So, yeah, I like this. The idea of assembling experts to figure out this. So, okay, I'm not totally against this stuff. I think this actually in general makes sense. Control the cost of higher education. College tuition is too expensive, forcing students who want to attend to either give up or take out student loans in an amount they will saddle them with debt throughout their lives. Okay. Colleges have skewed incentives based on rankings to invest in the wrong things. That's true. There are limited incentives for schools to be more cost efficient. Yes, that's true. Taxpayers are subsidizing rich universities should be investing their own money. Yes, that's very true. Great new skills rarely crop up despite demand. True. Now, I would say that, again, this is like a market situation, and really we need to just get rid of higher education, brick and mortar institutions, and some of these the old guard completely, because this is ridiculous that in this day and age with this technology that we use these teaching methods. It doesn't make any sense, but let's see what he says. So, control the cost, prevent students from being saddled with lifelong student loan debt. That's, yeah, okay. And part of me says it's their own fault, but part of me also says that they're young and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. So, okay, let's see what he says. Explore gradual phase of desired ratio of administrators to students 1 to 30 as a condition of public funding, as opposed to the current 1 to 21. The ratio was 1 to 50 in the 1970s. If we go back to that level, then college will be much cheaper. Okay, I'm not against that. Information is all posted. Focus on information. This is good, of course, more information. I guess if it receives public funding, then that would make sense to me. Okay, I like how he's attaching everything to if it receives public funding. That makes sense. Because if you're getting public funding, then you should have some responsibility to the funding of a new university now. That's interesting. I don't know about requiring people to do that. Revisit the tax-exempt status for students that have more than enough money to fund their operations, aren't investing money back into students at that. Yeah, that's true. This one ought to be good. 11 plus million undocumented immigrants are currently living in the United States. That's bad. While the vast majority of the immigrants aren't a security risk, having that volume of individuals in countries that aren't known to the U.S. government itself is a security risk. That's a kind of a nice way of saying it, but they're also cutting the line, and it's an issue. It would be perfectly expensive to deport all these individuals. That's true. It's true. These individuals tried to circumvent the legal immigration system in the U.S. and if others for them must reflect this fact. Yes. So they tried to circumvent the legal immigration system. Yes. All right. Bring the 11 plus million documented immigrants out of the shadows into a formal economy. Find a solution that reflects the facts that they entered the country illegally. That makes sense. Okay. So, secure the southern border and drastically decrease the number of illegal entries in the U.S. Yes, that has to be done. Otherwise, you're not going to solve this problem. You got to plug the hole first. Provide near-term, long-term permanent residency for anyone who has been there legally for such a long time that they can come out of the shadows, enter the formal economy, and become full members. I believe this is true. I agree with this. Okay, even though a lot of right-wing people would disagree, I agree. We got to solve the problem, but you got to plug the hole first. New tier would prevent individuals to work and stay in the country. Okay, that makes sense. Put them on a longer 18-year path to citizenship. Same amount of time it takes those to get full. Not only reflecting their desire to bring them to the country, but also a decision to Yeah, okay. Their decision to circumvent legal immigration channels. So this is making them be penalized in some way, and deport any out who don't practically enroll in the program. That makes sense. It's going to force them to go into it. I think this is good. This is a really good policy. Large number of people are entering illegally. It's risky. Cartels and individuals are trafficking drugs. Asylum system flooded with cases revealing people who enticed to come to U.S. and ask for asylum. Yep. For years before their cases come up. That's ridiculous. Yep. Okay. So, all the goals seem good, but let's see what he's going to do. Increase funding to secure our landed ports of industry. Yes, that makes sense. Increase funding to our customs enforcement. Yep. Invest in technology such as ground and aerial sensors. Yeah, this is pretty freaking common sense. It's actually better than building a damn wall. Makes a lot of fucking sense to use the technology. Body cameras, yes. Okay, makes sense. Fixing the asylum problem, lowering the backlog. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. This all makes sense. Okay. So, millions of children were brought in this country illegally and have made a home in America, but they're not protected with legal status. Let's see, find a solution. Okay, support the DREAM Act, support the... Okay, I think this makes sense. So he's got these other ones here. It doesn't really clarify what the DREAM Act is, but anything helping, children that were brought there illegally and, they haven't had any say in it makes sense to me. I'm all for that. All right. The right of many American women to have control over their bodies is being unconstitutionally eroded by legislators with no medical background. Protect the right privacy of American women. Treat women equally. I will appoint judges who support a woman's right to choose. Yeah, I don't think so. Here's the thing I would say about this. I don't want to get into the whole abortion debate, but I'll just make this really, really simple and clear. That I feel like this is the best argument against abortion, right? That I could come up with that I don't think anyone can really debunk, which is this. It's that in all other areas of the preservation of human life, we err on the side of preserving human life rather than destroying it, right? So we don't put people on death row. We don't convict people for, capital punishment unless we're sure that they're guilty. Right? Innocent until proven guilty. Okay, and it has to be beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay, anytime that we have something that might kill people, we ban that for the most part, right? Like we tend to always choose to preserve human life whenever possible. Okay, so with the whole abortion issue, what it really comes down to is whether or not a fetus, or at what point a fetus is a human being, is a life. And so I don't know for sure, right? No one knows for sure. You can't say, is it right at contraception, at inception, at conception? Is it 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks? Is it third term, right? What is it? Okay, when does it actually become a human being? It can't be like because it's left the birth canal. That doesn't make any sense because it doesn't change the actual brain and the feelings of pain and the individuality. Okay, that's just a location. So when medically does a clump of cells become a human being, right? There's a big spectrum there. So rather than trying to guess the answer, it makes most sense to me to take to err on the side of preserving human life, and just to assume that at the point of conception, at the earliest point that it could possibly be a human life, that we consider it a human life and do not murder it. Okay, it's not has nothing to do with women's rights, with women's body rights, or anything like that. It just has to do with the preservation of human life and erring on the side of not killing innocents. Okay, again, if I'm wrong, well, I'm not even taking a stance on that. I'm just saying that if people who say that life begins at conception are wrong, and it actually begins like in the 3rd trimester somewhere, then we've preserved lives. Okay, we haven't done harm. All right, it's being wrong on that side of it is not so bad. Okay, but if we say that it begins like in the 3rd trimester, we make some kind of arbitrary like 12 weeks or whatever. That's when human life begins, and we kill all the babies before then, all the ones that women want to have abortions. We've committed a huge scale of murder, of killing innocents, and whatever pain that they're going through. It's if you're vegan, you can't possibly be for abortion. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's an ethical inconsistency. So again, like I said, my stance is not to take any kind of really truly moralistic viewpoint on women's rights. It's more to say that we should err on the side of caution in preserving human life, which I think, again, you can argue it, but logically it's pretty hard to combat that. So that's where I stand on it. And as far as I'm concerned, abortion is murder. Killing a baby without knowing whether or not it's a baby, we should consider that murder, and there should be severe penalties, the harshest of penalties for that. It's no different than any other kind of murder. In fact, it's the worst because it's a completely defenseless human being. Again, I'm erring on the side of the sanctity of human life. I think that's a safe side to err on. Campaign finance reform. What's the problem here? Money has become the dominant force in our elections. As wealthy individuals and corporations increasingly demand the attention of candidates and policymakers, people don't believe their voices matter. Candidates and often office holders spend the majority of their time fundraising rather than governing or Yes, this is all some big problems. Improve candidates' responsiveness, reduce corporate... Okay, so let's see how he's going to do this. Support a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United, which was a terrible decision that has made our politics even more polarized. Support a public financing system of elections to reduce the influence of money in our democracy and open up the field beyond very wealthy. Eliminate super PACs and vessels for corporate intervention in campaigns. Enforce our current campaign finance laws to curb corruption. Agree with that 100%. That absolutely needs to be done. Let's see what he says here. Women receive less pay for the same work as men do. That's not actually true. Discrepancy in pay faced by Black, Hispanic, and Native American women is even also not true. This is just not true. So, promote equal pay for equal work. Work to alleviate racial discrepancy. There's none of this is existing. And even if it was, I will maintain what I said in the first video, which is I believe that people have the right to discriminate if they want to. I wouldn't discriminate. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm not racist or sexist in any way, but I think that if someone wants to be, we should let them. It doesn't fucking matter. You can't encroach upon someone else's right. But let's see what he says. Pay all federal workers who are performing the same job, same salary. That's pretty much already happening right now. So, and defining what the same job is quite difficult, but fine. Work with states to implement salary disclosure laws. That's good, actually. That's a good thing. Okay. Refuse to hire outside contractors companies that won't disclose salary information for their employers. That's bullshit. Okay. Pilot studies to see if different policies result in equitable hiring and pay. Again, it's ridiculous. It's bullshit. I'm not going to go into the whole debate of why, but what is this one? Promote vocational education. Too many students invest in college when it's not the right investment. I agree. Too few students are aware of alternative career paths. Yes. Student attached to vocational jobs. Yep. Okay. Increase vocational training. All right. So, about career paths don't require a college degree. Prioritize career paths. Yes. So good. Yes. Read the book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance if you guys haven't already. Good book, but yeah, I agree with this 100%. The costs of burning fossil fuels are felt by everyone, with benefits going to fewer. There's no strong incentive for corporates to stop burning fossil. Okay, actually, the way that he's phrased this is kind of true. I kind of agree, actually. The way that he's phrased it is very well. There's no strong incentive. Okay, because I would normally say let the market define it, but the costs are felt by everyone, with the benefits going to a few. It's true. So, there's no such thing as global warming, but okay. Provide benefits directly to markets to suffer negative effects of industrial fossil fuel. And I don't say this as an ignorant asshole, but there's a lot of reasons why we can't actually affect the global climate, but okay. But regardless, it doesn't matter. Okay, propose a carbon fee and dividend system that would set an initial carbon tax of $40 a ton, which increase the regular intervals, use a tax to fund administrative fees. 50% of universal basic income. Okay, that's kind of interesting. That's a way to fund your universal basic income. And I do agree that, again, while I don't necessarily agree in global warming, I do agree that pollution is bad and that we are affecting the environment, just not in the way that certain people are saying. We're not actually causing global warming. We are causing pollution, though, and there is definitely a destructive effect over that is cumulative over time. So yeah, to our health in general. So I agree with this, actually. Are too low to incentivize potential choosers with great skill, but other options. Yeah, I agree. These things are true. Improve the quality of teachers in the country, reward teachers for improving their skills. Work with states to fund their skills to improve the teacher salaries and reduce layers of administration. So, okay, I agree with the reducing layers of administration, but improving teacher salaries is not necessary because, again, this is the market that's defining it, right? If teachers were in very high demand, they'd be paid more, but they're not in very high demand, and people are willing to do it. It's an easy it's an easy skill to go through for college. It's very easy to say, I'm going to become a teacher and I'm going to get a job as a teacher. Okay. Now, is it a hard job? I'm sure it is. But with that said, we need to not invest in this traditional form of education. Teachers are not necessary anymore, for the most part. Okay. We can learn online, video courses, software programs, right? Actual teachers. We should be eliminating this. We should be eliminating schools, traditional schools. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. The ways to learn and the efficiency of learning through online education and software programs is much better. It's ridiculous to have teachers at this point. We need to actually have a real system of education that's software. Our education system starts too late. Create a pre-Carnegie public education for... That kind of already exists for the most part. I mean, at least in California and a lot of places, you can get in preschool but I don't know if I agree with, I don't know. I mean, I think starting them young is good, but not putting them into an education system, a public one. I'm generally against public education anyway, so. Provide loan forgiveness for education majors who volunteer at places that provide... No, that's ridiculous. No loan forgiveness. No, that's just robbing Peter to pay Paul. Sorry. I'm not entirely sure where I fall on this one. Are in jail for non-violent marijuana-related offenses. As it is now legal in 9 states. It is kind of funny that you could be in jail for something that's legal in other places. It's unclear and is controlled substance under the law, and related marijuana leads to safety issues. Yeah, okay. So, support full legalization of marijuana at the federal level and remove it from the controlled substances list. Expunge the federal convictions of all marijuana-related use or possession offenses. Identify non-violent drug offenders for probation, and potentially early release. Okay, I agree with pretty much all this, with one caveat, which is that you have to make it so that these people can't sue. Otherwise, it'll be ridiculous. Oh, I hate the VAT. But let's see what he says. Okay, 160 out of 193. All right. Corporations move money around to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. The burden of paying for social service falls to a proportion on those who earn the least. That's not true. The Freedom Dividend should be funded by those who benefit most from the structure and work of society. This is like, yeah. I think this is true. This one is true. Joint revenue stream that can't be avoided by corporations who are trying to circumvent. That's a good thing, actually. Joint revenue that will be consistent with increasing automation. At 10%, half the European level, over time the VAT will become more and more important to capture the value generated by automation in the way that income taxes would not. The VAT will be based on the good to which it's applied, with staples having a lower rate or being excluded, and luxury goods having a higher rate. Okay. So, I'm against all taxes, but I would agree with this if we're going to have taxes, if it replaced standard federal income taxes and state income taxes. Because this is better to tax the monies that's being spent, especially on luxury items, for a lot of reasons. Let's see, we're almost... Wow, there's a lot here. All right. Let's see here. Some pharmaceutical companies prioritize profit over safety. To work together to bring more criminal cases. Yes. Here, misleading marketing. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. In this way of holding them responsible... I agree. 100%. Yep. 100%. Don't control how they price things, but control the penalties they pay for making those poor decisions. What does this even mean? At present, the market system tends to undervalue many things, activities, and people, many of which are core to the human experience. Make the economy work for Americans, not the other way around. Direct capital investments to improve human welfare, not to enrich the wealthiest Americans. Create measurements around people, not dollars. Measure the economy from GDP and stock market to move in median income. Median income doesn't matter. Standard of living, health issues. Okay, so some of these make sense. Yeah, okay. I think in the whole basket I might agree with. Mental health, childhood success rate, social and economic mobility, absence of substance abuse. Okay, so that's true actually, rather than GDP and stock market. Her paid a lot of money, but I will be heard from going to private industry afterward. Yes, that's true. Regulators need to be focused on making a decision. Okay, the government goal should be driving into new currency, digital social credit, which can be converted into dollars and used to reward people who drive significant social value. Oh, that's interesting. My first instinct would be to be against this, but I don't know. This might actually be pretty smart. So, like, if you're doing good, you can use this to, I think that's kind of cool. Imagine an AI life coach with the voice of Oprah trying to help parents sit together, raise kids, or move, upgrade. Okay. Each of these scenarios is possible right now with current, but the resources and market. Oh, okay, but the resources and market incentives for them to not. Okay, this makes sense. Interesting. Next stage of capitalism. I mean, this is probably worth a longer read here, but I do agree that humanity is more important than money. Economy. Some of this is like wishy-washy kind of feel-good stuff, but some of this is actually true. So, that's interesting. I kind of like the idea. I'm not 100% sold on it. I need to research a little bit more, but I kind of like where that's going. I do agree that capitalism needs to change in some way. Smartphones harming children. All right. Are developing to be adopted throughout society faster than we can understand their repercussions. Smartphones are having untold impact on children that will affect them throughout their lifetime. I think that's true. Yeah. Of attention economy. Yeah, a good book is to read Cal Newport's new book, Digital Minimalism. But yeah, there's some serious problems for adults as well with this constant technology in our hands. Invest in America's mental health. Didn't I just... Oh, wait, okay. So... Every cop gets a camera. These offers have dozens of interactions each day. That would be, yeah, this just makes sense. Wow. Apple, Google, and Amazon combined employ around 750,000 individuals. The federal workforce is made of 2.3 million. That's too many. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. American people are paying for an oversized, inefficient federal workforce. 100%. The federal workforce is aging fast and struggles to recruit and retain young workers. True. Reduce the size of the federal workforce by 15 to 20%. That's good. Increase efficiency. Yes. Improve recruitment and retention. Yes. Hire management consulting firm. Smart. To identify areas of inefficiency. Going to hire Bob and Bob. Implement new technology and improve government efficiency. Reduce the size of the federal workforce. Yep, I totally agree with all of that. Makes a lot of sense. The respect people have for the office of presidency is damaged by the view that presidential policies are sometimes subconsciously motivated. They would have lucrative offers and good relationships after leaving office. Take it easy on industries or regulating. Yep. Okay, so how would you do this? Accept no speaking fees. Yes. After leaving office. 100%. Increase salaries for government officials. I thought I was going to disagree with this, but yep. From leaving their position, from receiving anything in value in exchange for advocating their position. Yes. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. That would be really good. If you guys want to see part 3, let me know. And I think there's still some more policies that I haven't gone over, but I've gone over most of his policies right now. And I have to say at this point, you know, after the first video and this video, I agree with probably like, it seems like around 80% of what he wants to do. He's very smart, very reasonable person, right? And he's got these things well thought out. Every single candidate should have this. So, all right, guys, one real quick thing. If you stayed with me this long, you're probably interested in developing the Bulldog mindset. So take the quiz here, the Bulldog mindset quiz, and there'll be a link in the description as well. And let me know if you want part 3. And if I get enough votes on it, I will do part 3. Talk to you guys next time. Take care.